Big thanks to Indy the AM for helping to support my channel. Use my coupon code RISTER or any of my affiliate links for an additional 10% off of any order. Thanks again to Indy the AM for helping me bring this content to you. This past weekend, Comicpalooza Fight Club 2024 went down in Houston, Texas. It drew in 117 entrants and was classified as a B+ tier, aka a national tournament. But with such a low entrant count, this tournament was extremely top heavy, and that resulted in tons of upsets, big runs, and new stars making their breakout onto the world stage. Today, we'll be going over everything notable from Comicpalooza 2024, seeing every single noteworthy occurrence. We'll get started by taking a look at a few solitary upsets before we move into our big runs. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. As I covered in Friday's pre-tournament analysis, two of the top seeds, Meister and Onin, DQ'd from the event. This left Shiny Mark as the first seed of the entire tournament, but that was not meant to be. Bwendon is a Houston native who plays Ryu, and at Comicpalooza, Bwendon made a few minor upsets in pools, leading to a set with Shiny Mark. This was the qualifier match to make it out of pools, and Shiny Mark was the clear favorite to win. But as the set progressed, it went to a tense Game 5. And in that final decisive game, Bwendon defeated Shiny Mark 3-2. And as Bwendon was the 33rd seed, this came out to an upset factor 10 win, tied for the largest of the entire tournament. And yes, I said tied. That's because Shiny Mark would lose the very next set in a Game 5 to Pooji, who plays King K. Rool. Pooji's win as the 40th seed also clocked in at an upset factor of 10, and Shiny Mark was eliminated at 33rd place, having drowned in pools as the first seed. Just like Light vs Chunky Kong from yesterday's video, this set wasn't put on stream, but thankfully I was able to find at least some hand cam footage. Unlike Momocon from yesterday, we don't have too many other top seeds getting upset incredibly early. These pair of upsets were tied for the largest of the tourney, but there weren't too many other upsets not connected to a top 8 finisher. In fact, we've only got one or two things to cover before we can go over the new rising stars. E-King is the Pac-Man main from Puerto Rico, and is one of that country's best players. E-King came into the tournament as the 23rd seed, but went on an insanely impressive run. Firstly, E-King defeated Atomic, the 10th seed, 3-1, a minor upset to make it out of pools on winner's side. But from here, E-King had a much more impressive but sadly unstreamed upset, defeating the 7th seed, Chag, in a 3-0 set victory, which clocked in at upset factor 3. E-King made it all the way into winners quarterfinals, but sadly would lose back-to-back sets to both Mudace 3-0 and Bwendon in a Game 5 set, to eventually place 9th as the 23rd seed after a great run. Shu, the ZSS, came into the tournament as the 15th seed, and went on what was probably the greatest losers run of the entire tournament. That's because Shu basically was on cleanup duty, eliminating every other high seed that got defeated early as well. Shu lost in pools to this guy, the Fox main, who was the 50th seed in a Game 5 set. This upset factor 4 win cast Shu into losers, and from here, it was off to the races. Shu first defeated Atomic 3-1 to make it out of pools, which eliminated Atomic at 33rd as the 10th seed, and let Shu move into top 32 from loser's side. Once here, Shu defeated both Skinny the Pooh, who had gotten upset early 3-1, and then defeated Kansas City Pac-Man main Rocky in yet another 3-1 victory. From here, Shu got one more win over Steve main Davong, who had just eliminated Galehue 3-1, but then sadly lost in the loser's side top 8 qualifier to Louis Money 3-0. This eliminated Shu at 9th place as the 15th seed, not only outperforming her original seeding, but doing so primarily through losers, as the best losers run of the tournament. And believe it or not, that's actually it for the notable runs that aren't connected to a top 8 finisher. And even though most of the top seeds weren't eliminated early like Shiny Mark was, they were entering top 8 from losers, since multiple top seeds did indeed get upset in winner's bracket by the new rising stars of this tournament. So let's stop beating around the bush. You've heard about it, you've seen it on the thumbnail, you already know that we're going to be talking about Lukewarm, previously known as Kirby Kit. Lukewarm came into Comicpalooza as the 13th seed, and started off the weekend by sweeping pools, albeit not flawlessly, lastly defeating Shadow PR in a good win to make it into top 32 through winners. From here, Lukewarm got two insane Game 5 wins back-to-back, defeating both Lima and Louis Money, the win over Lima being upset factor 4, and with these victories allowing Lukewarm to enter top 8 through winner's side. The next top 8 finisher was another breakout star, and I am so excited to talk about him. because this breakout is from my home region of Kansas City. It's the one, the only, the boy genius himself, Paloopy. Paloopy is the recently ranked #1 player in Kansas City, who entered the tournament as the 16th seed, and in my pre-tournament analysis, I told you to keep an eye on him. Paloopy started off the weekend by getting a great upset over Skinny the Pooh in a Game 5 set to make it out of pools and into winner's side top 32. Once here, Paloopy got a win on another breakout story, defeating Buendin 3-1. With this, Paloopy moved into winners quarterfinals, one set away from top 8. His opponent was Tilde, and in a stunning win, Paloopy defeated Tilde in a Game 5 set, making top 8 through winner's side after a crazy win. It doesn't help that Kansas City has at least 3 Falco mains, so Paloopy has a lot of matchup experience. The other 2 top 8 finishers on winner's side were actually top 8 seeds, who managed to avoid upsets. Mudace made top 8 extremely easily, sweeping pools flawlessly and also defeating both Deathspade and E-King 3-0, making top 8 through winner's side without dropping a single game. Peebnut also had a dominant showing, dropping a game in pools but then proceeding to defeat both Rocky and Capitancito 3-0, our last player to enter top 8 from winner's side. On loser's side, it was actually mostly top seeds, save for one example, our star player, Buendin. As you remember earlier, Buendin defeated Shiny Mark in a Game 5 set, but then had lost to Paloopy 3-1 once making top 32. From here, Buendin went on one of the best losers runs of the tournament, defeating Beastly 3-1, Anathema in a close Game 5 set, and moving into the loser's side top 8 qualifier, where Buendin lastly defeated E-King in yet another close Game 5, to make top 8 from loser's side. Capitancito had lost to Peebnut in winner's quarters, but managed to defeat Lima, who had been making a minor loser's run, in a Game 5 set. This eliminated Lima early at 9th and allowed Capitancito to make top 8 through losers. Tilde, after having lost to Paloopy Game 5, defeated Kansas City Bayo Sora co-main Deathspade in a close Game 5 set, making it into loser's side top 8 after a close call. That made me very sad. Sorry, I'm biased. And lastly, after Louis Money had lost to Lukewarm, a 3-0 win over Shu allowed Louis Money to make top 8 through loser's side, our final top 8 finisher. That leaves our top 8 chock full, with Mudace vs Peebnut and Lukewarm vs Paloopy being our winners semi-sets. Mudace continued in absolute dominance, defeating Peebnut in a 3-0 sweep to make it into winners finals. On the other side of bracket, despite the fact that this matchup is really bad, Lukewarm was just on something different, and managed to defeat Paloopy 3-1 to make it into winners finals against Mudace. But if Lukewarm was playing different, Mudace was purely unstoppable, and swept Lukewarm 3-0 to make it into grand finals from winner's side, casting Lukewarm down into losers finals. And thus, we have our losers bracket, with Lukewarm sitting comfy, Paloopy and Peebnut in losers quarters, and our losers 8th sets being Tilde vs Louis Money and Buendin vs Capitancito. Buendin, despite the amazing run, would sadly lose to Capitancito 3-0, the steam having just ran out. Despite Buendin being eliminated at 7th, this was still one of the biggest breakouts of the entire tournament. The other side of losers 8ths was much closer, with Louis Money clutching out a Game 5 win over Tilde, eliminating the Falco main at 7th, and with Louis Money being able to continue on in bracket to face off against Peebnut. And while Peebnut was able to take a game, Louis Money did manage to defeat Peebnut 3-1, moving into loser semifinals. The other side of bracket saw Paloopy get yet another ranked win when he defeated Capitancito 3-1, the power of Kansas City being put on full display. Paloopy moved into loser semifinals to face Louis Money, but Louis Money does have a Mia win. So while Paloopy managed to pull out a game, he sadly lost the set to Louis Money 3-1, being eliminated at 4th place after one of the best runs of the entire tournament. Paloopy repped my home region of Kansas City, and I am very biased, but also very proud, and you can't take that away from me. Louis Money moved into losers finals to face off against Lukewarm, who had beaten Louis Money in winners quarters. With this set though, Louis Money swapped off of Palutena and on to a counterpick Rob, and this counterpick worked wonders, with Louis Money winning the set 3-1. And despite the fact that Lukewarm was eliminated, this was King K. Rool's best performance since 2022, a run at Lost Tech City that also belonged to Lukewarm actually. With this, Louis Money moved into grand finals against Mudace to see who would become your champion of Comicpalooza 2024. But kind of like with yesterday's video, this grand set was actually somewhat anticlimactic, with Mudace continuing to dominate the bracket and sweeping Louis Money 3-0, eliminating Louis Money at 2nd place, and with Mudace winning Comicpalooza Fight Club 2024 without dropping a single game. This tournament was crazy, with the many rising stars like Bwandin and Ploopy being paired with returning legends like Lukewarm giving K. Rool his best recent placement, and Mudace absolutely sweeping the tournament. It was truly an event for the books, and I for one had a phenomenal time watching it. But this tourney was only the second of the 3 American tournaments that went down last weekend, joining MomoCon and the subject of tomorrow's video, Combo Breaker. For today though, that's going to be it for today's video. Before I go, shout out to my patrons Seth Laster, Fireskull333, Logan S, Persipalm, Wawa, Mr. Sinister, Happy Feet, Ocean Man, Mistybot, and my tier 2 patrons Iltis, Diamond Blaze, and Ben L. Additionally, shout out my YouTube members DTR Jr., Defective, Boston R, Honest B, Kirby Fan, Nexus, Loco Soco, and my tier 2 members Mike G, Wu-Tang Forever, and Stormtrooper. Also, shout out my gifted tier 2 members with usernames Ruby Master, Kuroruko, LWB74, and Enchanted IBE. Lastly, extra special thanks to my tier 3 supporters Fat Blizzard, who says Big D will make it out of his slump, Avadoon, who says Mr. Rice is the go to Smash content, Iltis, who says Paleo always comes back, and Grant I Am. If you want to support me using any of these methods, links are in the description down below. Don't forget to use my coupon code RISTER in order to get 10% off of any order from Into the AM. And lastly, I want to give one last sincere thanks to Let Me Fly for their continued support of my channel. Link to their Twitter page is also in the description. Don't miss tomorrow's upload, but until then, I've been RisterMice, and thank you all so very much for watching.